don't have my diploma from graduate school, but I've got my Dale Carnegie diploma there because it changed my life.
Number 7 is how to make friends and influence people. If you just did how to make friends and influence people and you put it into your DNA, you would be successful.
I've read this book more than 5 times. Here are the best takes I got from it as a salesman. Enjoy. John Dewey said, "The desire to be important is the deepest urge in human nature. You want the approval of those with whom you come in contact. You want recognition of your true worth. You want the feeling that you are important in your little world. You don't want to listen to cheap, insincere flattery, but you do crave sincere appreciation. This is the best way to make someone like you." But there's a line between cheap, insincere flattery than sincere approbation. Most salesmen fall into the first category. Why? Because they don't know anything about the prospect. The only thing that they know is maybe what do they do for a living, and they push hard on that one thing. Like 1 minute into the call and they're saying things like, "Oh, you're so awesome, you're helping the society so much." And they may mean that, but the prospect knows that they've only met for a couple of minutes. Why is he talking like that? Does he want to deceive me? You want to avoid them having that thought as much as you can. First, take your time to learn about them, ask them questions, and wait so they can answer to your question. The act of waiting itself will build a relationship with your prospect that gives your appreciation and compliments weight. You're not a stranger anymore. And also try not to be generic, try to make it personalized to them. And the thing that I added myself to this is try to tie that compliment to the result that they may get from buying your product. Let me say that again. Tie that compliment to the result that they may get after buying your product. For example, you're a marketing agency and you're talking to the CEO of a company, a customer. After you had a long conversation with him and gathered the needed information, you can say to him, "Well, Greg, I wish I had a boss like you who constantly tries to excel his team. Like, man, you will finally be able to solve your churning out problems, and your sales reps are gonna have the most qualified lead that they can imagine. It would also be way easier for your new salesmen that you've hired because they don't have to deal with unqualified, annoying customers. And it will be all because of you not being scared of taking these big steps." So what did I do just now? First, I listened to him to get the information that I need to continue my conversation with him. This is the most important part. Second, I opened with a compliment. "I wish I had a boss like you who tries to excel his team," and that. And then, third, I tied him buying our product to how great of a boss he is and not being scared. So it wasn't flattery at all. I meant it, and I conveyed it in a way with my tonality and my words to make him know I meant it. And let's just imagine if he doesn't buy. In his mind, he's not a great boss, he's scared of taking big steps, he doesn't want to excel his team, and all that stuff. So what did I do? I gave him a compliment. I made him feel good, but I made it conditional. So if he doesn't buy our product, he won't be all those great things that I said about him. This is so powerful. And again, I'm not deceiving him. I believe in my product, and you should too. If you want to reach your maximum capabilities as a salesman, you should always believe in your product. A no response, according to Professor Overstreet, is the most difficult handicap to overcome. When you have said no, all your pride of personality demands that you remain consistent with yourself. You may later feel that no was ill-advised. Nevertheless, there is no precious pride to consider. Once having said a thing, you feel you must stick to it. Hence, it is of the very greatest importance that the person be started in the affirmative direction. So basically, this method implies that if you get a couple of yeses at the start of your conversation with your prospect, you set the tone of the customer to get on a more affirmative direction. Focus on the things you agree on. It can be the problem that they have. It can be the outcome that they want. It can be the great feeling that they may have after achieving that outcome. Show them that you're striving for the same end as them, and ask them questions that they have to say yes to. Like, "Man, I'm telling you, if you had a nice body, it would have been awesome, right?" Yes. Imagine your kids see their dad as the strongest man in the universe, so they would always listen to you even when they grow up. You know how teenage years are, right? Because you've shown them authority, physical authority. Wouldn't that be great? Yes. Like, you will eat healthy anyways, and when you're 70 or 80, you won't have to deal with heart problems, back pain, knee pain. It's really an investment, isn't it? Yes. Do you want to enroll in the gym? I just sold you too, didn't I? You can't say no to that. It's physically impossible to say no. Just replay that to yourself and say no afterwards. It feels awkward. After all the things I said and you agreed upon, it's really hard to say no, like you're disagreeing with yourself. You know, our job as salesmen is to disentangle the prospect's vague thoughts and guide them to the right path to make the right decision. Because humans tend to think only short term and not think about the long-term effects of things. And when you make them realize how the long-term is going to affect them and what would the result be if they buy from us, long-term results, you remind them that this is the right decision. You've probably heard the saying that no one really wins an argument. But in sales, that's a bit different. Someone will always lose, miserably. And you've guessed it right. That is you. And I get it, most people don't know what they're talking about. And when they talk with authority, like they know more than you about the thing that you've been selling for your whole life, it's a bit irritating. But I believe it was Alex Hormozi who said it. Do you want to be right or rich? The time that arguments happen the most is when they talk about your competitors. They have better prices, they have better policies, conditions, this and that. This is the time that you definitely don't want to argue. Because if you start arguing against their claims and in favor of your product, you've put them as a representative of your competitor. Because they have to defend their ego and not lose, thus reinforcing their claims and selling themselves more on your competitor's product. They may not care about your competitor at all. They may just brought that up to get a discount from you. But now you've put them in a situation that they have to keep their ego intact. Does this make sense? This is literally a gem right here that I found out from this book and it just blew my mind. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. This is the fastest way to lose a customer. And this is worse than arguing because now you are attacking the person directly. Fun fact, this gets you negative referrals. And they are way more powerful than regular referrals. Because bad news always spreads faster than good news. If I told you I went to a pizza place and it was great, everything was great, the staff were great, the food were great, you may consider check it out sometimes. It's on the back of your mind sometimes. But if I told you that I went to this pizza place, it was filthy, the food was horrible, it gave me diarrhea, the staff were terrible, you may never go to that place ever in your life. Because eliminating choices is far more easier than actually choosing. And you'll also lose the customer, but that's a no-brainer, you already know that. And why even do it? Like, think about it, if someone right now criticized you, what's your immediate response? Resentment and trying to justify your action. So by doing that, you shift the way your conversation should go. First, you build up resentment, which as you know is the last thing that a salesman wants. And second, they try to justify themselves and put you on the opposite side. You will always want to be on their side. That's why the old school sales trainers always say that if you are in person, try to always sit on the same side of the table as the customer, not across. That's how important this is. You want the problem to be on the other side, and both of you attacking that, not each other. He says in the book, I often went fishing up in Maine during the summer. Personally, I'm very fond of strawberries and cream, but I have found that for some strange reasons, fish prefer worms. This is so good. You don't want to feed the fish strawberries or cream because they don't want it. Like teenage girls buy Labubus or Stanley Cups. You may never see Warren Buffett buying Labubus, hopefully. He's not interested in them. He's interested in shares or stocks. So figure out what they want by asking them. And after you know what they want, arouse an eager want in them to want that thing even more. For example, you're a gym coach. Someone comes in, overweight, and tells you he wants to start working out. You, the gym coach who wants to make everyone jacked as shit, may tell him all about the intense workout plans, the intense diet, the food that he has to cut off, being disciplined and doing cold plunges and all those stuff. He didn't want that. He works 9 hours a day, have 3 kids and a mortgage to pay. He didn't want those disciplined and cold plunges shit. But you assume that everyone wants that, right? Wrong. Never assume. Always ask. Ask what do they want. And if they already want it 60-70%, make it an 85, make it a 90. By telling them about the wonderful things that may happen after they've achieved their goals. Then you have a higher chance of closing. According to former Harvard President Charles W. Eliot, there is no mystery about successful business intercourse. Exclusive attention to the person who is speaking to you is very important. Nothing else is so flattering as that. This thing is one of the few things that has no exception. Like none. Everyone likes talking about themselves. Everyone. Like, think of a time when you were talking about yourself and someone listened to you with enthusiasm without interrupting you to talk about himself. Hard to find, isn't it? And honestly, they're not the ones to blame. Humans are wired like that. And because it is so rare and hard to find, it leaves you a great opportunity. If you let others talk about themselves without interrupting, while you listen to them with enthusiasm and letting them spew their ego on you, they will like you. You see, sales coaches always talk about make rapport, have rapport, build rapport. This is the best and the easiest one because you don't have to do anything besides listening attentively. It also refuels your ammo to asking them questions if you want to overcome their objections later down the closing part. Hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment your ideas or your criticism, because at the end of the next video I will answer them and refute some of your criticism if there are any. My name is Centric Shani. Thanks for watching to the end. See you in the next video. For now, goodbye.